Well, hey there, guys. Welcome back to Ferris Farming Organic. I'm sure a few of you guys are wondering, probably like one of you, were wondering, Thomas, where you been for the past 4 months? Well, I've been playing a lot of Just Dance and coaching high school girls basketball. And I have to say, getting pretty good at Just Dance. So, anyway, the reason probably most of you guys are here, Equipment Tour 2025. Now, I did one of these probably, I don't know, it's probably 2 years ago by now. Not a ton has changed, but enough that it's worthwhile to make this video. Now, before I start talking about the equipment in this shed, this is a cold storage shed. We put this up last summer over here in Emmitsburg, and it's quite a bit of stuff in here. I will say, if you're a follower of the channel and have been for a while, you're not the best on staying on track when I do these types of things. But luckily for you guys, you can skip around to whatever point you want. Starting off quick with the quad tracks. I know we have the 8RXs as well, but these are the 9RXs. These tractors are used mainly for tillage on our operation, whether that's, you can see there's a ripper on it right now, I'll get to that later, but these tractors are used a lot on our farm. I mean, you can go back to spring videos, you can go to fall videos, these tractors are pretty much always featured in them. Now, pardon me for the bad lighting, but these 9RXs are 640s. These are they have the Gen 5 receivers in them. I spent a lot of time in these tractors this fall and spring. But yeah, probably my favorite tractor, I would say, to drive. I know it's very intimidating looking. Like I said, for 640s, I believe we're maybe going to get some bigger ones this coming year. They're the wide stance ones, so the tracks aren't narrowed up. They're wider. That's a cool tractor. Yeah, there's a few more things about this tractor. You can see this ripper on here, this 22-foot, 13-shank disc ripper, I believe it is. I think it's a 2370 or 2730, one of those two. But yeah, that tractor is used a lot with tillage like this, and also this. This is our chisel plow, which was also on a quad track, so there you go. Anyway, so these are two fall tillage pieces of equipment. This was used, I use this a lot on alfalfa fields, oat fields, whatever, going a little bit deeper, obviously incorporating that chicken litter. And then this was used mainly on bean ground. Although we have used it on corn stalks in the past, we just liked the way this ripper worked this year compared to that. Now, to the people new to our channel, we are organic farmers, which means we don't use chemicals to combat weed pressure. We use tillage. Now, I know that's a very broad term and I didn't cover it very well, but let's get into that quick. Or let's get into why we use these two big pieces of tillage equipment that you don't normally see on most conventional farms. So coming back to this 9RX, you can see these tracks are very big. You can see the tracks on the 8RX, there's 4 of them. That's a lot of compaction on your fields. And since we do farm organic, that means we make a lot of passes with cultivators such as this. This is not the only kind of cultivator we use. We use John Deere 3 sweeps, we use single sweeps, all sorts of that stuff. And we'll get to the types of cultivators and weed control machines that we use a little later in the video. I just wanted to preface that the reason we work up the ground in the fall, it's not just to incorporate chicken litter. Yes, that is a big part of it. It's also to prep the seed bed for next year, but it's also to get rid of that compaction, right? Because if we take 10 passes, say, across a cornfield, that's a lot of compaction on the ground, which we want to rip up, you know, and get it back to its original state, not just drive over it 10 times, then just leave it there, and it'll be hard as a rock in the spring. And then we can't plant, and then we can't farm, and then I can't talk to you guys about tractors. So anyway, that is a very, very, very long rundown on why that tractor is very important. Not that one, that one. What do you need? Gang. And special guest here, we have Derek. He actually runs one of the planters. So far, we've talked about the 9RX, all the fall tillage stuff, and why that's important to break up compaction. Can you talk a little bit about the planter tractor? There you go. You can hold that right there.
Well, I don't have the cool one with the Gen 5 displays.
Gen 5
yeah, I don't have that. So this here is a tractor made by John Deere, the 340. That's what our planter tractors are. This one is not as cool because it doesn't match. That's a story for another time. We got all precision on a 3-point bar, 24 rows, folds up, kind of wide, kind of heavy, but hey, it's kind of cool. We don't have any Delta Force. This one did last year. Was it 2 rows or 1 row?
I can tell you.
For sure 1 row. We had some row cleaners, but we took those off. Must not have worked as great as we were hoping. That's all 1 bin.
While he is being athletic and climbing up there, how many, we have 4 of these, right? All 24 rows, yep. All 30-inch spacing. They're all on, I believe, 348 RXs that we ran them on. Yep. The boxes are a little bit different, and some little parts of the planters are different. For the most part, all the planters, or they all are 24 row with 30-inch spacing high-speed planters. Tractor, most of them have Command Pro, some of them don't. The Command Pro is nice. I know I've talked about it in past videos. You can just set all your presets, especially planters. There's a lot more hydraulics hooked up. Yeah. Have you showed him inside? I have not of this tractor yet. And he also mentioned the 24 row tracks is what's on the planters when we plant. And as soon as we start, summer tillage, that'd be tine weeding, rotary hoeing, and cultivating, we put on 18s just because when the plant grows, it closes in on the row, and eventually it's closed all the way so you can't get in the field, and that's what kind of stops us from doing tillage. Probably middle of July on beans, end of June on corn. But we'll change these tracks out for 18s, and as soon as we put them on grain carts, we'll either put them on 30s or 24s. We got started up? You guys take it inside. Is there an air seeder over here yet?
No, those are one's at the Mike's, the other one in the big shed.
Okay. So Derek is now going to show you guys the inside. I can hold the camera for you. Hopefully this tractor starts.
Cold start.
Cold start.
It's not plugged in. It is.
A John Deere 340 cold start.
Oh, the battery's not even on.
All right, while he figures out that tractor, we're going to continue to talk about the planting side of things. So this is another planter. You can see this one has the matching yellow John Deere seed box on it. Also high speed, also 30-inch spacing, also 24 row. The thing about these 24 row planters, and I know I'll turn the camera around quick. I know he mentioned these are very heavy, and that's not always good on these tracks here. We have had issues in the past with these tracks getting really hot and coming off. We didn't have any problems last year, did we? What? Tracks coming off? No. We do try to, on the road, only go 18. I don't think these tractors, we have them set up. So, ooh. Wow. That is the one thing about these T-tracks. The T-track here, these 310s, the 8310 RTs used to be, I would say, the flagship tractor of our operation, but we moved over to 8RXs just because the weight distribution is better. You can't really put a 24 row implement on these T-tracks very easily. Anyway guys, I know it's kind of hard to follow along because I'm jumping around a lot, but I'm going to try to go through most of the tractors we have in this shed. We do have more elsewhere. I probably won't be able to go and show you guys them, but I think a little bit of everything, every part of our operation is in this shed right now. So if I bounce around a lot, I apologize, but I'm going to try to cover everything as best as I can. Anyway, the 8310 RT, that is a big tractor still yet in our operation. We use that a lot on tine weeders. That'd be the first pass cultivation and sometimes the second or third. It's the first thing that goes in the field after the planters, and those tractors usually have them on them. Now I might have to go to a different shed to show you guys a tine weeder, but if you scroll back a few videos, I'm sure last summer I know I took a video of a few of them in the field running. I'll maybe throw some clips in when I walk around and show you guys equipment of it running in the field, just to give you guys a reference for what it looks like when it's actually doing its work. Anyway guys, going back to tillage, this is a field cultivator. I don't know why it's so hard to say. So we got both of them right here. I think we're gonna run 4 of these this year, possibly 5, if we have enough tractors and enough people. But this is the first thing that'll be in the field. Hopefully here in a few weeks, we'll start planting oats. And those of course will be pulled with the big old John Deere 9RX. Alright, so far we've talked about the 9RX, the 8RX, our planters that we use for corn and beans. We've also talked about a little bit of fall tillage as well as spring tillage, first pass. Like I said previously, this is not all the equipment that we use on our operation. This is just, I would say maybe 50, 60, 70% of it, but it's a pretty good selection of a little bit of everything that I can, walk in here and try to cover as much as I can. Also, comment down below if you want to see a part 2 to this. I can try to drive around more places and kind of show you guys more different pieces of the operation that we might not use as much, but are still vital to our operation. Moving on to the grain wagon. So right here we have a Kinsey Harvest Commander 1421 grain cart. Maybe I'll show you this one. This one's more clean. I don't think you guys care too much. Anyway, great grain cart. We had one 2 years ago, and we got a second one this previous year. This has the side digital scale. I don't know if you can see that with the light there. There you go, it's right there. So that'll display the weight. So the combine driver on this side can see what he's putting on the grain cart. Just makes things pretty simple. And we run these on tracks, not wheels. We run both of our grain carts on tracks. We run our combines on wheels though, which brings us to our next thing, the combine. All right, so here's the combine. This is what we use to harvest our oats, our corn, and our beans. So right here before you guys, this is a John Deere X9 1000. This is has the Gen 5 receivers up in there. I'll maybe climb up in there in a second. You can see right here we have a CF12 corn row, or anyway, a CF12 corn head. The reason we use 12 row instead of say a 16 row, which this combine can easily handle, we use 12 row because obviously the folding capabilities, we like that. The roads here in Iowa aren't always the greatest, they're not always the widest. So having a corn head that you can fold up and drive between fields that are, you know, not as wide as the dualies on the combine, just gives you a little bit of peace of mind, makes things a little more efficient pulling in and out of fields. Very good corn head. It appears we do not have any of our bean heads in here, but we use 45-foot draper heads for our oat harvest and our bean harvest. Once again, guys, I apologize. There's not all the equipment in this shed right here, but maybe when I get back home, I'll hop in the shed back home and show you guys some stuff there. Bye, D-Rock. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are gonna head back home. We'll stop inside the shed at home and continue the equipment tour. All right, so for those who've been watching the channel for a while, you'll know the lighting in the shop or this shed sucks. But there's a few pieces of equipment here I want to show you guys, and then we'll wrap up this video. So the main things I want to show you guys in this shop are these cultivators, and I know the lighting sucks, so sorry about that. Hopefully this summer when we get them outside, I don't know if a flashlight, ain't gonna do anything. But right here we have this is a John Deere bar. It's an 85.6 cultivator bar. It is added on an extra 4 rows on each side. So this is a 24-row crop cultivator. Behind it is a tine weeder. Like we talked about earlier, those are usually on the 8310 RTs. If we can, they're just not as heavy. So the T-track, the weight distribution is fine. But this is a 3-row John Deere row crop cultivator. Yeah, the lighting's really bad in here, but that I would say is the main summertime tillage weed control tool that we use. We've used it for 20 plus years since we started farming organic back in the late 90s, early 2000s, before I was born, believe it or not. Turns out I'm not actually 50 years old, but yeah, we've been using these types of cultivators for a very long time. You can see there's one small sweep up front, usually 2. This is an outside row, so there's 2 smaller sweeps and then a bigger sweep in the back that just takes out the big stuff. But these 2 get pretty close to the row, so it throws dirt in between, and it also, obviously takes out all the weeds in the middle of the row. Use my flashlight a little bit here. This is a tine weeder. You can see these tines right here. They're just baskets. These are also 60 feet. All these implements that you see are all set to 60-foot, 30-inch spacing. That way everything kind of just stays the same. It's easy to, unhook that and then hook up this and run in the same field. Just simplicity. This is a single sweep. This is a late summertime cultivation. You can see that sweep is just massive. Middle of June, end of June, when the corn's getting too tall for the three sweeps to be effective, we bring this single sweep in and really moves a lot of dirt and throws a lot of dirt. And last but certainly not least, we have 2 Kloss triple mowers here. This is obviously the front. We run this on a 370 wheeled John Deere tractor, so it has a front PTO and a back PTO. Obviously, that's the back. This is the front. We run 2 of these. These kind of bounce between Colorado and Iowa quite a bit. They farm a lot of, wheat out there and stuff that they need to mow off. So these bounce around between the 2, but we have 2 Kloss, and I believe we still have a John Deere triple mower. Now, as this video comes to a close, obviously there's many more pieces of equipment that I obviously showed you guys. Obviously these hoppers right there. I mean, you have a telehandler and a payloader right there. So obviously there's more equipment we use on our farm than what I've shown you here today. This is what I tried to show you guys is the main stuff that we use to plant, harvest, and do tillage, because that's kind of the main part of farming. Obviously, I could make a whole nother video, probably twice as long, showing you every little piece of equipment, doing a shop tour, which is what I plan on doing, later in this week. Do a shop tour for you guys, both shops. Well, there's one up in Lake Park, but I'll show you the Emmitsburg one and the West Bend one. But yeah. Anyway, we're gonna finish the talking segment and closing up this video in the pickup, because it is a beautiful negative 15 degrees outside here in Northwest Iowa. But back to what I was saying in the shed, there is more equipment. Obviously, I didn't show you guys everything, but maybe there'll be a part 2, maybe there won't. If there's a lot of interest in it, I sure can. Plan on doing a shop tour of both shops. Hopefully by the end of the week. I go to Cancun next week, so it won't be negative 15 down there, I hope. Anyways, guys, I'm glad to be back behind the camera making videos for you. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a like. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe for more farming content. So have a good year. Catch you in the next one.